Well, Clarets, we're here again. What is there to say? The first 10 minutes of that match, we were fantastic. We were on top, and you felt that a goal was just coming. And then Bournemouth go down the other end, and poor defending from both O'Shea and Esteve. I don't know who's to blame. I think it's O'Shea, just with poor positioning. But between the two of them, someone gets that ball. And then Bournemouth get the opener. And then I thought we played well for the majority of the match. We weren't great defensively. We were lucky that Bournemouth weren't the dominant team in midfield. I thought we played well in midfield. Josh Cullen coming in today, obviously for Brownhill, has made a stake for starting next weekend, and for me, he has to start next weekend. For me, that's Brownhill out of the team. And that midfield today, with Audebert playing as a 10, Bergen, Cullen as the defensive midfielders, I thought it worked well. And yeah, you just felt like the goal had to come going up to half time. We're just missing that attacking threat in the box, I think. The team of last year, not necessarily the players, but the way that the confidence was and how high our confidence was, the team of last year would have won that game 3-4-0. As I say, not necessarily the players, but the fight and the desire and the natural instinct and the just having a shot rather than messing around outside the box waiting to lose the ball. And that's what was our downfall a lot today. I think we were hesitant to take shots at times, which is strange when you look at the stats, and I think we've ended up with 20 odd shots in the game. So yeah, it's a tough one. It was very reminiscent of Palace earlier in the season, where we were not dominant, but we were arguably the better side and should have did deserve to get a goal. When we went in at half time, we didn't deserve to be behind. And then yeah, obviously second half comes and it's quite a lot the same really. I think we played well in the second half in midfield. And going forward, there were the chances there. Obviously, Cullen's goal gets disallowed for a foul, which is very, very soft. But then we've got to take that on the chin, and we've got to go again, and we've got to keep fighting, and we've got to keep going for it. And I think it says it all when the loudest cheer was when Benny came on. And to be honest, I know I'll probably get slated for this, but he came on and he didn't really impress me. Obviously, I know it's hard to come on into a game like that, especially when he sat on the bench a lot this season. Not really had much game time, but when he came on, there wasn't much that he did that did, show me why he has to be one of the first names on the team sheet next week. Having said that, he is a player that I would be starting next week because he's much better than Vitinho on the right. I thought Vitinho had a good game, but I just thought he's not quite up to it completely, to be honest. And then, yeah, you just felt with all the missed chances that we had and the missed opportunities, that they were going to break at one point and get a second and kill the game off. And we got away with a few earlier on before they did score the second. So we did get away with a few, and there were a few warning signs. But yeah, as I say, it was very reminiscent of the Palace game, where we've played well, or well enough to at least get a point, and then they've managed to nick a second late on in the game. I think Trafford he did okay in the second half. The first half, the fans were getting on his back once again, and I can understand why they were getting on his back. And it was hard to watch. He's doing this thing where he slows the game down quite a lot, and I think that gets fans on his back straight away. So yeah, I've said this every week. He's going to be a top goalkeeper. He is going to be a top goalkeeper, but it's time for him to be dropped because this will not be helping his mental health, and it won't be helping his confidence, and it doesn't help us at the moment. It's not time for Vinny to go yet, but it's starting to get hard to watch and hard to want to go on the match. I thought the crowd had turned a lot more today than they did, so fair play. The atmosphere at times did feel a bit flat, but I feel like there were times where it was going and you could feel everyone was backing the team. And like I say, when Benny came on and got the loudest cheer, that said it all, really. Yeah, there's not much more you can really say because it just feels like Groundhog Day. You say these things week in, week out. We played well. We had good chances. We could have got something, but yeah, it's just another one once again where we should have done more than we could. And I think the main thing, we're missing that focal point up front. I think if we had a J-Rod was up front, or if Foster was up front, maybe even Barnesy, Ingsy, Vaux, all these players that we've had in the past, these great strikers, I think we had one of them today, we would have won. Fofana's been a great focal point for us since he's came in, but today he just seemed to have to drop back and defend a lot, and then when we did get the attacks, he just wasn't in the box. But having said that, he had that good chance in the first half, which if he puts in the back of the net, it makes it a lot different. Another thing, I know that they obviously had a few VAR calls where I feel like their players were quite lucky to still be on the pitch. Semenyo, launching Brun Larson in the first half, and then I'm pretty sure he made another one or two bad tackles. The stamp on Cullen's ankle in the first half, which went to VAR, I believe, but we were never told about it. And there were a few of those today, actually, a few VAR calls where there was no announcements from the PA or, direction to look at the big screen or anything. But yeah, like I say, it just feels like Groundhog Day. It feels like you say these things week in, week out, in the hope that it's going to get better. But honestly, I think the season's done now. It's not a case of if we go down or where we finish. I think 19th or 20th is pretty much set between Sheffield United and Burnley. I think it's just a case of are we 19th or we 20th? And when it's mathematically confirmed that we are relegated and that it's done. But yeah, we get this season over with, we rebuild, ready for the summer and ready for another season in the Championship. But yeah, we'll be there supporting the boys next weekend against West Ham. It's another Sunday game. I believe it's 2:00 kickoff next Sunday. So yeah, we back the boys and we go again and we try again next weekend, and hopefully, even if we do go down, we go down fighting and with a performance, because that's all we ask for and that's all we need. And again, I've said the passion and the fight, and that's all I care about. And there was a bit more of that today. So I'll accept it today, but we go again, up the Clarets.